what do you think of the idea of sacrifice? So my relationship with sacrifice has evolved recently over the past few months, actually. I used to look at sacrifice as a negative thing, an unhelpful way to view things as a sacrifice, until I realized we're always sacrificing. And it's a much more, the question is asked in a categorical manner in most cases, whether sacrifice is useful or not, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. But it's much more complex and dynamic than that, where we're always sacrificing. People that we see as more successful, and whatever that means to us, tend to sacrifice a part of what they want in the present moment for something they want more in the future. So it's an exchange of values. I'm willing to give up something that falls lower on the hierarchy for something that exists higher on the hierarchy. But it's not just in the present moment. I'm taking into consideration my future. And people who we see as less successful in a multitude of ways tend to sacrifice the potentiality of their future for, let's say, instant gratification in the present moment. Let's say the Oreo example. I'm going to have Oreos right now. And it's not that I want to sacrifice. It's not that people who indulge don't sacrifice. They do. They sacrifice a part of what they want tomorrow, a part of what they might value in the future, which is their health, having energy, whatever, for the instant gratification of what would taste really good right now. And so it's always a sacrifice. Sometimes the sacrifice is not conscious. Sometimes it's not worth it. And so where sacrifice tends to be unhealthy is, one, when it's imposed involuntarily, and two, it's not worth it. And sometimes we don't make the conscious calculation if something's worth it or not, but we can tell usually from our affect and how we feel emotionally. If we're sacrificing consistently and we're not in a good space with it, we're probably giving up something that we value more for something we value less. An example of this in the workplace is your manager makes you work and stay late at work. And you don't want to stay late at work, and you don't care about the extra money. You'd want to relax. And so you're frustrated with the endeavor. Well, again, one, it was imposed involuntarily. So there's a stressor. And two, you've already made the calculation at some level that it's not worth it, that you would value rest more than you would value staying at work and making the extra money. So this would be an unhelpful or unhealthy sacrifice in the long term if you continued to act in that manner with that given exchange. But when we voluntarily sacrifice something we want in the present moment for something that we value or that is more meaningful in the future, we don't experience the same amount of stress. And so when you understand how dynamic it is to sacrifice and that we're always sacrificing, you can ask yourself, is there anywhere in my life that I'm making a sacrifice where it's not helpful? Am I giving up something I want more for something that I want less? And you can't just make the calculation in the present moment. You have to calculate in the future. And so that's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is there something that I really want in the future that I would be willing to give up something in the present in exchange? And would I be willing to impose that voluntarily on myself? And do I see that it's worth it in my perception? Because sometimes we don't know how worth something is, or we don't know the exact prioritization or hierarchy of our values. But that's how you learn. You learn by giving up something that you thought you wanted more for something that you actually wanted less. And then you don't experience pause of emotion, and you don't experience resiliency with the stress that's imposed on you. And so that you learn from that, you learn how to make better calculations, you learn how to make better sacrifices. And so those are two very helpful questions to ask in your life: is where am I making sacrifices where I should stop? And where should I start making sacrifices in a way that will propel me toward the future that I want? Hey guys, thanks for watching that video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did find it helpful, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and pay it forward. Just copy the link and send it to somebody else. It's only 5 minutes. It can really help somebody understand where they're at in their life and how to move forward. So I'll see you guys on the next video.